This will be interesting. Let's see.
It's about Season of Discovery. Now, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with Season of Discovery. I'm excited, but I want to see where it evolves. Watch the video of Stay Safe talking about it. I'm kind of curious to hear what he has to say.
What is up, guys? Stay Safe here. So I wanted to sit down and try to pump out a quick video talking about my thoughts on the upcoming Season of Mastery Classic WoW servers that are coming out on November 30th. I'm sure you all heard about that at BlizzCon a couple days ago, in which we will be playing what is effectively a modified version of Vanilla WoW or Classic WoW with a new rune-based talent system, new abilities.
It's basically Classic Plus.
Spells.
It's supposed to be Classic Plus, but they don't want to call it Classic Plus because Blizzard is afraid. As they should be. They're failures.
Progressive level caps all along the way to level 60, starting at level 25. And then I think they said it'll be 40, 50, and 60 at most.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And also retrofitted raids with new mechanics. They're turning Black Fathom Deeps, the iconic classic WoW Vanilla dungeon, into a 10-man raid at level 25.
That's cool, but Black Phantom Deeps is so dreary, gloomy, and shit-looking that it gives me depression. So, you know, half the World of Warcraft player base is gonna off themselves when they start doing that raid.
In addition to some new world PvP content. So I'd like to start things off by acknowledging that this is a very experimental way to approach classic WoW, and you have to you have to take your hat off, figuratively. If I did that in real life, I would reveal my balding head.
Yeah.
But
is Oregon even a real place? Probably not.
You got to take your hat off and give it to the classic WoW dev team. They're going out on a limb here. But
they definitely are, and you know, we'll see if the limb breaks. I'm not sure.
I want to be excited. I am excited, but at the same time, let's not forget, the classic WoW dev team is a bunch of morons. Same for Diablo, same for retail, same for Overwatch. Blizzard does not have a single person who is actually a gamer developing these games. When Classic came out, everyone and their goddamn grandma knew that that the disabling of summoning stones until patch whatever is a mistake. But the dev team still disabled them and made the experience worse. They are so afraid of making changes, it is insanity. So now it's a lot of changes, but what kind of changes, you know? If they knew what they were doing, they would probably do more changes. But they don't know what they're doing, so, you know. There's a huge amount of risk in this. That's what I'm kind of trying to say here. Exciting, but a huge amount of risk. But here they have done one smart thing. They're not calling it Classic Plus, which will be the actual official name at some point, most likely. They're going to use it as a second release. They're going to test the waters with all of this and see what's good, what people like, what people dislike, and so on. And then it's going to be Classic Plus.
Of that, as we've seen, sort of two camps of people right now in regards to this Season of Discovery situation. Either you love it, and you love it, or you hate it, and you hate it. That seems to be the case with what I've observed.
I'm going into it with a very big amount of skepticism.
Yes.
And I think the concerns that I have...
That's how it should be.
...are legitimate. Like, I've talked about before how, like, Classic WoW is good because every class isn't complete and they need other classes to complete them. And I'm not sure necessarily if
I have no idea what he means classes are incomplete. Classes are complete, and they don't need anyone to complete them. It's just shit tier balancing. That's kind of it. That's what Blizzard is known for. They haven't balanced a single game properly in 20 years. The closest they have ever gotten is... What's the MOBA that they made and failed? Heroes of the Storm. And then it's StarCraft 2, which is, by the way, still actually not balanced, and that's why the esport completely imploded. Because, you know, at one point they just gave up at balancing and was like, well, you're playing Zerg vs. Protoss late game, and one side concedes because they have literally no shot.
Season of Discovery is going to just kind of remove that problem. And I think that's a good problem. They aren't even testing it. Yeah. And so I just want to see it. I'm in the hate camp. Well, I want them to try everything. Like, and again, all of my hesitation and everything about it, none of that outweighs the potential excitement that I could have for it, even with all of these problems.
He's essentially saying if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. So deep. I mean, so deep.
Checking all different sorts of all the far reaches of the internet. Speaking of which, if you take a look at the Classic subreddit, where a lot of Classic WoW community discourse goes down,
if it's on Reddit, it should be ignored.
Those people on the subreddit seem to unanimously love it. They're huge proponents of these changes.
Most people are.
Whereas, if you look at the official Classic WoW, the Battle.net Classic WoW forums, people are...
even worse than Reddit, I guess?
...are pissed.
Let's be fair. These are aggregated primarily by the being the top posts that have the most interactions and the most people talking about them. This does not necessarily...
A Season of Discovery doesn't feel like Classic Plus, it feels like Retail 2. Yes, that is exactly what it should be. In reality, most people who want Classic Plus understand that it should kind of be a little bit more retail than Classic. Like, it should still have the Classic feel and whatnot, but that it should get elements from retail in it, you know? Skills that people like, fixed talent points, more choices in talent points, and hopefully horizontal progression. But, you know, that's probably a pipe dream.
Mean that the comment that was made at the beginning is the resounding opinion. It could also just simply mean that this is a person who is expressing an extremely strong opinion and people are reacting to it. It's important to keep that.
He's autistically saying maybe this person says WoW bad, but everyone in the thread is saying WoW good.
In mind.
Hate it. And so it is interesting observation, interesting to note that over here in this sort of echo chamber, I guess, everyone loves it, and over here in this alternative echo chamber, people are super angry about it, and it's nonstop vitriol. But because I was curious, I took to Twitter to see how people felt, and so I conducted a poll asking people how they feel about the upcoming Season of Discovery announcement, and here are the results. Now we have over 3,800 people that voted in this Twitter poll I conducted. It was a 24-hour-long sample size with a 24-hour-long poll, so people had an entire day to respond.
These polls are garbage, by the way. YouTube polls are garbage, Twitter polls are garbage. You know why? Because you have followings on there. This is not a bi-partial audience. If this guy shits on Classic constantly, most people who follow him are probably be people who like shitting on Classic for whatever reason. If he makes content about game good and blah blah blah, then well, you know, that the exact same thing happens. Same happens to YouTube polls, because who sees it? Well, on Twitter and YouTube, the people who see these polls are your audience, the people who are following you first and primarily, okay? And well, if they're following you for a reason. And that reason is because you probably are doing something that they like. And well, you get the point.
64.8 of the respondents.
Now, I will have to say that Stay Safe's audience is primarily Classic WoW players, but it is not entirely Classic WoW players. So by polling people and asking people, are you excited for Season of Discovery, there could be people who aren't even excited for Classic to begin with who might be voting.
Oh, he semi-understands the issue. Okay, that's better than expected.
So, you know, it's hard to be 100% certain, but I do think that I think 70 to 80% of people are positive for Season of Discovery. I think it's much higher, but there's also Classic Andes, yeah.
Said that they are excited for it, whereas 35.2% of people that responded said that they are not excited. So it's almost 2-to-1 ratio, almost 2-to-1 odds. Mm-hmm. But definitely you can observe it's not unanimous. It's 2-to-1. You know, more people are excited than not excited, but is it like...
No, this will obviously make sense. Well, it obviously does make sense. You can't have something that everyone's excited about it or everyone's mad about it.
Like 90-10 or 99-1. No, this is a little bit divisive, and there most certainly is a split.
This is actually as believable as I think a poll can actually get.
In the classic WoW community to some degree. But it does seem like most people are optimistic at least, which is a good thing, especially these days. But now I want to sort of say...
I mean, the brightest side of this, if you're an absolute Season of Discovery doomer, is the fact that, well, it's just a season. Blizzard is going to do it. If it fails, they're going to probably, hopefully, learn from it now considering they're under Microsoft. And they are going to be forced to actually look into feedback because, by the way, keep in mind, Blizzard has never cared about your stupid opinions ever. They give you the questionnaire, do you like the game, and they throw it out the moment you finish it. They have literally not given a single slightest shit about your dumb opinions about the game. But Microsoft have. Microsoft is the company that tried to innovate on Windows, and then they gave up because feedback never was good. And now they literally have stopped innovating with Windows, because why innovate with something when everyone constantly tells you it's bad? So Microsoft is a company that has been proven to actually listen to feedback at this point. And they're going to probably force Blizzard to listen to feedback because they most likely can have the ability to scour the internet and quickly understand that one of the biggest complaints about Blizzard is the fact that they never listen to player feedback. So, that's a good thing.
Segue and give my perceived pros and cons in regards to the very controversial or perhaps divisive, definitely experimental Season of Discovery, so we can start.
And that's, I think, the key word that people have to keep in mind with Season of Discovery. Experimental. They're trying new things out. They don't know if these are going to work. That's why they're trying them.
Semi-good opinion. I talked about this previously, but again, for those of you who do not know, the level cap is actually also a proof that they are going to listen to feedback. Because why would you level cap the game? Well, level capping the game gives you, well, more game to play if they're going to introduce like semi-raids or whatever you want to call them. But, the real thing is, you know what it is? It's the fact that they can adjust the game. They will see what people like on level 25 and whatnot, and then they can adjust the game on the fly based already on feedback, and then they can adjust the next level cap based on the feedback and change things around. That is the big thing.
Sort of break things down, and I want to start off with the pros, the good things about Season of Discovery. That maybe you're not, if you're super negative about it, maybe these are going to kind of change your mind. So I do think that between all of the new runic abilities and time-gated level caps, new metas will most certainly develop that we have never experienced before. If you think back to the classic WoW beta, or maybe the demo that we got after BlizzCon, this is in 2019.
I remember that.
There were some really cool metas, like there was a level 30 meta, a level 19 meta, a level 40 meta on the classic WoW beta in 2019 that we had never played before. Like whoever had twinked a character at level 30 or level 40. And so there was some really cool emergent gameplay. People were sort of figuring out how to play the game in a way that has never really been done before, which is what we will be doing on Season of Discovery. Is that fun? Yeah, for some time it is. But that's most certainly one of the pros. Talent specializations that have historically been terrible might have a chance at being
very accurate picture.
Being viable. And
I want a full talent. One of my dreams for Classic Plus is that they currently take the giant bloated talent point system of Dragonflight and just copy paste it over to Classic. That's my dream, okay? I want that. That would be so amazing and cool. That would give so many options. Because the current talent point system in World of Warcraft Classic just doesn't work. It's bad, it's sad, it has no upsides.
And so we're talking
very accurate.
We're talking our boomkins, we're talking our ret paladins, we're talking our prot paladins, maybe we're talking our affliction warlocks, we're most certainly talking about our shadow priests.
Yeah.
Now these talent specializations, these sort of meme specs, as we have colloquially called them, now they stand a chance. And it's all speculation. No one really knows. Our warrior is going to be good. Our shadow priest is going to be the best class in the game. Our warlock tank's going to be awesome, or are they going to be the worst tank actually, and no one's going to...
Warlock tank is going to be absolutely just great for leveling. You know why? I had a guy who was playing Warlock in Classic, and that guy could tank dungeons. It's absolutely crazy. That guy legitimately could tank dungeons without any problems. He had some kind of tank build with demonology or some shit like that, and he just left his Void Walker to stand at the entrance of the dungeon or something. I don't remember it fully, but dude, that guy legitimately tanked every dungeon in the game without any problems. That already was possible in Classic. I'm like, okay, but we're going to... What's the place called? What's the place called next called this Noxtermus? And he's like, okay, I'm gonna tank this, and you're like, are we really sure about this? He's a warlock. And he's like, just relax, boys, relax. And we're in Discord. And he fucking tanks it. No problems whatsoever. Fucking button getting everything. He just, bam, there you go. Tanked. No problems whatsoever. Healer didn't have any problems. AoE tanking to the best. And now they're gonna add the actual tanking. Yo, that guy's probably going to be solo tanking a whole instance at this point.
Bother playing them.
You know,
we don't know.
Warlocks. Here's the thing about Warlocks. Warlocks are the best class in the game. So it would make sense that if you add new functionality to Warlocks, it will only make them more powerful.
It's hard to tell just by
that's
looking
true.
At the new runic abilities. You can't really parse that out just by reading.
Well, that's not true that Warlocks are the best class in the game. That's some kind of... I think that's the tournament standard he's using, because that's the class that won. But essentially he's trying to say, if you add more things to a good class, the class is not going to get weaker. If Warrior technically currently is the most played and blah 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 class in Classic, because it's the highest DPS and whatever, adding more things to the Warrior is not going to make it weaker, it's only going to make it stronger. That's his argument.
You know what I hope they do is I hope they add in new dungeons, because like...
True.
And I'm not saying I want Mythic Plus in Classic. I don't. But I just want like a couple of dungeons maybe added at level 60 that are more challenging. And I don't even care if they don't drop gear. I just think it'd be cool to do, right? Maybe they drop cosmetics or something like that.
New dungeons obviously would be amazing.
Reading about it on paper, I think you need to kind of get your hands on it to figure out what's going to be good and what's not going to be good. And of course, Blizzard has said that there will be no PTR and there will be no beta for this, because they want to sort of maintain some of the mystery or the mystique in regards to these servers.
Exciting.
So this could be either a pretty good class balance, or it could be the worst class balance of all time.
It couldn't be worse than the actual game. It's probably going to be garbage. It will be. It's going to be garbage. It's going to be completely broken.
But, I mean, let's say it's bad class balance with all these new runic abilities once everyone is level 25 and they've acquired all their runes, that is.
Oh, yeah, the class balance is going to be absolutely just as garbage dumpster fire as you can get. Classic didn't have any class balance to begin with, so... Why do you think an untested amount of skills and talents that make other things OP is going to make it suddenly not OP? Oh, no. No one's expecting balance. I mean, if you are expecting balance in this game, in Season of Discovery, that's on you. Because everyone understands there's not going to be balance. Every class is going to be OP, and it's just about playing the class that you enjoy and having fun. Wishing for balance... I mean, retail has never been balanced for the past 50 trillion years, okay? There has never been a point when World of Warcraft has been balanced. There's always a class that just outperforms everything else by a landslide. There's always a spec that's just so much better. There's always a weapon that's just so much more OP. Like, wishing that this was gonna be balanced is absolutely a fool's errand.
Was Vanilla WoW balanced ever anyway?
No, it wasn't.
Exactly.
I think not. So it's like, well,
retail
really
also was
it's just going to be unbalanced
type
in a
of
different
balance,
way
yeah.
now. Maybe at worst. So okay, whatever. We'll give it a go. Between the retrofitted raids being introduced and the additional PvP systems, we do have some amount of new, never-before-played content. Who here can say that they've done 10-man Black Fathom Deeps, that they've farmed their best in slot gear from 10-man Black Fathom Deeps in the new retrofitted raid? I can't say that I have. So is that going to be fun? Probably a couple times. How long is that fun going to last? I don't know. We're going to talk.
Probably a week. I think it'll be about a week. What I'll do is I'm going to level a Warlock first. And
it's a raid. I think it's going to have a raid lockout. Maybe it won't. That would be... I think not having a raid lockout is going to be a mistake, though.
Then after I level the Warlock, I'm going to level a Warrior.
About that in a minute. New PvP content, they're turning Ashen Veil.
But yeah, by the way, if you haven't figured it out, he's right. Currently, if you're planning to play Season of Mastery, you're not thinking about which class you play. You're probably thinking which two classes are you going to play at the bare minimum. Because level 25, it's like, I think it's going to take a week to 2 weeks for most people to get. In reality, like, you know, most people are not hardcore players of this shit. I'm going to probably play, like, 3 hours the first day and maybe 3 the second and maybe 2 the next, and then it's gonna be like 1 hour per day. And that's gonna be the reality how most people play this game. Most people don't have the stupid add-ons that tell you every line that you have to take for optimal leveling experience. Most people don't do that. And most people are gonna be level 25 in probably a week or 2. Probably in the middle.
Into a PvP zone. When you're level 25, you can get a 50% speed mount, and you can ride that around while you're PvPing in Ashen Veil exclusively.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's unique. I've never done that before. Maybe that's going to be fun. How repeatable is that fun? How long is that sense of fun going to last? I don't know. We'll talk about that.
Probably.
The Ashen Valley PvP is going to be a disaster. I'm calling it right now. And the mount is going to be stupid because the first thing that's going to happen is everyone's going to try and get the mount for Ashen Valley. And guess what then is going to happen? Everyone's going to complain about not having a mount outside of Ashen Valley. So I actually see if Blizzard changes one thing is the fact that you can ride your mount outside of Ashen Valley. I see them changing that because it's stupid. Like, one of the stupidest things about Classic is the fact that the mount takes level 40 and then level 60 for good speed. That's horrible, okay? Let's be real. Everyone has the money for the first tier of mount, and then the second tier of mount you actually need to farm. That's reality. That's how it is, okay? If we get it faster, it's not going to diminish anyone's achievement for getting the mount. So, give us mounts faster.
Probably not that long.
Also, Blizzard has come out and said that if Season of Discovery is successful, they might continue to create new content for Classic WoW.
Good.
Well, it will be.
Obviously,
yes. It will be. I think that we all know that people are excited for some idea of Classic Plus.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's not Classic anymore. It's just a new game using Classic era models and zones.
Yeah,
well,
Classic
like,
Plus.
I mean, you can say that. I think that what they should do. So, this I'll draw a graph. Okay.
Oh boy.
This is Classic, and this is Season of Discovery. Okay. And I think that they should go to about like right here. But in order to go to right here,
what?
You have to find out where right here is, don't you? So I think what they should do is they should use Season of Discovery as kind of like a testing grounds to see which changes really resonate with players, and then implement them on a longer form server. Like it's effectively like the beta test for Classic Plus begins on the 30th this month.
Oh, okay. He just said what I said at the start in a ridiculously autistic way, but I wouldn't expect less from asmongold.
That's how you should look at Season of Discovery. Season of Discovery is the beta test for Classic Plus.
Yep.
Okay, so they said that they're open to the idea. In fact, they even sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudged. A little leak, I guess. Blizzard came out and kind of revealed that they're considering doing a Nomuragon raid, a Scarlet Crusade raid, and a...
Yeah, we're expecting that. At least the Scarlet Crusade one is, like, super expected. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone wants a Scarlet Crusade raid. Except me. I fucking hate the Scarlet Monastery, I'm not gonna lie. The Scarlet Monastery is the worst place in the game, in my opinion. It is just boring. It's really, really, really boring. Does anyone enjoy going to Undercity when you enter the ruins of Lordaeron on that small place? No, you don't. It's kind of cramped. It's kind of boring. There's nothing really there. It's gloomy and blah, blah, blah. And that's Scarlet Monastery in a nutshell for you. I don't like the design of Scarlet Monastery at all. Unless they freshen it up, I'm not going to be a fan.
The Karazhan Crypts raid,
That's
which everyone is super excited about. So those are the pros. Okay, this is potentially could be some new, exciting content. Let's talk about the cons. Things like rogue tanks, mage healers, paladin DPSers. These are very foreign ideas in regard.
Rogue tanks are probably not going to work. Because, well, I could be wrong, but this is my understanding of rogue tanks. They're gonna work probably for dungeons and whatnot, and maybe that is the point of rogue tanks, shaman tanks, and all of that garbage. Just so you can find groups for dungeons easier. And that's probably gonna work, but in raids it will not work. Because rogue tanking is dependent on dodging and parrying. And having combo points up and shit like that. And that doesn't work, okay? When your tankiness depends on dodging, well, it's only a matter of time until you die because you get hit 2 times in a row. Because it happens. It's a statistic inevitability, right? So, mitigation is the way to tank properly. And rogues are not going to be able to do it. Shamans, maybe, I don't know. But rogues definitely will not be able to do it. Also, my bet is on shaman tanking that the easiest way to actually get aggro is going to be flame shock the boss and then just spam healing on yourself. I think that's going to be the best way for shamans to tank. That's going to be hilarious.
Regards to vanilla WoW.
They are.
Or at least the traditional vanilla WoW experience that many people have come to know and love over the last 19 or 20 years. Vanilla WoW came out 19 years ago. Oh my God. That means you and I are getting old. And so...
And also another factor is that all of the archetypes in the game are classic, obvious archetypes. Hunters are exactly what you would expect a ranger to be. Rogues are exactly what you would expect a rogue to be. Who can tank? The guys with plate armor and a bear. Yeah. Right? So, like, everything makes sense intuitively with Classic WoW.
Does it, though?
These are sort of very foreign ideas in regards to how vanilla WoW normally regularly plays. And it's possible that these ideas might end up, or this new sort of gameplay approach in regards to Classic WoW might just be a little bit too foreign, a little bit too weird. It might deviate from what people know and love about vanilla WoW.
Right. And
people might try it out. They say, this is not vanilla WoW as I love it. It's not for me.
Yeah, sure.
That could entirely happen. It might be too different. There might be too many changes, right? A mage healer, a rogue tank, a paladin that actually can do DPS. That's insane.
I mean, I don't think that's going to be the make or break deal for Classic, honestly. Okay, a mage can heal. Wow, I mean, yeah, that's 100% something that hasn't been, but these changes are not that big, not that specific. I feel that they're still in line. There's not going to be a lot of people who are going to say, "Oh, Season of Discovery in Classic, actually." Nah, I think everyone's gonna play it and be fine with it.
That,
but there will be obviously people who don't like it. It always happens.
That's insane. That's crazy business. Okay, so who knows? I
think that's a bit. I think it's a bit much personally. I think they should have just given Paladins taunt. But I think that again, like I think it's too much, but I want to learn that it's too much. If that makes sense.
Yep, that does make sense.
That if all the content that we're getting is a new retrofitted raid, sort of rehashed dungeons in a way, and some new world PvP content every couple months, we might end up running out of things to do really quickly, meaning the servers might die due to just lack of content. How fun is the level 25 PvP meta going to be?
Not
it could
at
either
all.
be really fun and everyone loves it and it's the best thing ever, or I don't know, I've been there, I tried that, I did it for 2 days and now I'm bored and I want to go back to playing hardcore WoW, or I want to go back to playing classic era, or I'm going to go log into my Drakthir and
just have some fucking like weird stuff in Goldshire with like a Valkyra.
What is a Drakthir?
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And it's the face of an average Dragonflight player, guys. And anyway, yeah, I mean, I think this is definitely a factor. It absolutely is. And they should probably expect that players will want to play about 2 characters on average. I'd say 1.5 to 2 characters on average. And then make content after that.
Now, a thing about... One of the biggest things that Blizzard could screw up here, by the way, is potentially just the release timing of content. Because they have no way of telling how fast people are going to be done with the level 25 content, right? How fast people are going to be like, oh, well, PvP's not fun, not playing it, and now there's, like, nothing to do here. And, well, because maybe Blizzard is planning to release the next level cap in, like, 3 months. Which seems actually reasonable, in my opinion, right? Maybe they're planning to release it in 3 months. Maybe they're planning to release it in a month. Probably longer, because the season... how long does a season even last? I have no idea, honestly. I think it's a year. Or at least something like that. It's pretty long. So, yeah. The biggest risk currently is that people play to level 25, they get bored, they make a second character, and they actually get bored, and then they're like, okay, well, I'm quitting until the next level cap. That is the biggest risk.
Go do a Mythic Plus dungeon instead. That most certainly is not going to happen. But you get my point, okay? So I'm worried about a lack of content. That's what I'm worried about. I also think that in regards to developer time, it seems, maybe I'm misunderstanding something, the Classic WoW developers are spending time developing Black Fathom Deep's level 25 10-man raid that is only going to have a shelf life for 2 months or maybe 2.5 months before they increase the level cap up to 40.
That's a concern for me as well.
And then to 50, and then to 60. And then those raids, those new retrofitted raids that they spent time developing are now, why would you ever go back and do them, right? You're not going to...
Well, as long as they have quests that give good rewards,
people are going to do them.
Then people will do them. But they need to give good rewards.
I mean, there's also nothing saying that they can't just increase the level of those dungeons also. There's nothing that says that Blizzard can't do that. Oh, the level cap's 40. Guess what? Black Phantom Depths, level cap 40 now. Wow, ain't that crazy? That could happen. Low probability, but could happen.
For leveling. And that means they need to give very good experience. And I think that they might scale up. I don't think they should scale anything. Classic is not about scaling. And world buff, yeah, there is that too. People level alts, yeah. I don't want to see them scale.
Them, you're not going to... And so maybe I'm misunderstanding something like I said, but I'm questioning, is this a good way for the developers to be spending their time in regards to making new, fun, exciting content for Classic Plus, or is this a bad way to spend their developer time? And they always talk about how time is a resource, and they have very limited developmental time in the Classic WoW studio. So is making content that it is only going to be relevant for 2 months at most, is that a good way to spend that time? I don't know. I'm concerned about...
They still need to see do it to see how people react to it. Even if it's a bad thing, they just need to do it from a developer standpoint, because they need to see how it works out. Okay?
lack of content. If Season of Discovery's success, moving on, if Season of Discovery's success is the metric being used to determine whether or not Classic Plus content should be developed in the future, maybe things don't bode that well for Classic Plus. And the reason I say that is because considering how experimental and deviant Classic Discovery, Season of Discovery is going to be, I'm worried that if it's too experimental and it fails, then maybe the class.
Ooh, that was a bad video. Oh, jeez. Ooh. Oh, remember that? That was bad.
Nope.
Jesus.
Classic WoW developers are going to say, well, because no one really gave a crap about Season of Discovery, we released it, no one liked it. Now we have inferred that no one wants Classic Plus. If Classic Season of Discovery is to be their litmus test for the desire to play Classic Plus in the future. And so I will say, I don't really think that Season of Discovery is what a lot of people had in mind in regards to Classic Plus.
Really?
I think also, like, one thing that we don't take into account is that there's probably a lot of Classic Andes that are level 32. The same as there was back in 2006. And a lot of those Classic Andes that are level 32, like, they're not, like, adding a new raid after Naxxramas isn't important to them because they're not even level 60. Like, they don't even give a shit. It's not going to affect them. So I think for them focusing on adding more content for, like, that mid-range of players is probably a good idea. Now, is that all they should focus on? No. And I think there is a tremendous, huge community of people that are level 60, but there is always that group of people that are, you know, lower level. And it would make sense that you would do the experimental content at lower levels, or at least that's what I would expect.
Yeah, that does actually make sense.
Personally, I'm sort of on the fence about...
That was a good opinion. Yeah, that was actually a decent opinion. Wow. Who would have expected?
Season of Discovery, I'm going to play it. I'm going to give it a go, but I will be honest with you guys. When I think of Classic Plus, I think of some tasteful class rebalancing in the spirit of Vanilla WoW. And to be a little bit more articulate when I say that.
By the way, I completely agree with Stay Safe on this. I think the changes are too far.
I was not expecting mage healers. I was not expecting rogue tanks. I was not expecting paladins to have Wind Fury. I was not expecting...
Wait, paladins have Wind Fury?
Warlocks to be tanking raids or tanking dungeons. These are a little... It's like whoa!
It's huge.
That's like a splash of cold water in your face. I'm not saying that I'm going to hate it, but it wasn't exactly what I was expecting when I'm talking about Classic Plus. And
strange. That was exactly what I wanted. I wanted new ways to play the game. Dude, okay, let's be real. How many of you wanted Classic Plus to be, I don't know, a new village of furbolgs and that they have a quest line? And you're still spamming just a frostbolt on your mage. How many of you wanted that? Probably none. Probably none. This Classic Plus is exactly what I wanted. New stuff, new ways to play the game, more options. I am someone who's always gonna pick the more options part. If I die, I want to pick options how I die. You know what I'm saying? So,
like I said, a little bit of tasteful class rebalancing or talent tree tuning in order to bring up some of those meme specs. I'm not saying invent new meme specs. I'm saying like maybe mage healer or something. I'm saying bring up some of the meme specs that were not really viable in original vanilla, original classic. Okay, that makes sense to me.
If there's a talent that nobody uses, change the talent. For sure.
My vanilla.
You see that? I can't agree with that. Because changing the talent that no one uses for it to be a good talent is the quintessential same thing as just adding mage healers, okay? That's also as big of a change. So, you know, I don't know. I'm happy with it. I hope they also change talents hugely.
Andy, my classic Andy brain. Also, new leveling zones, new leveling dungeons, new endgame zones, new endgame dungeons. I think that's a pretty good place to start. I think that's a pretty just like basic classic plus way to start. See if people like it or not. Give us a new level 30 to 40 leveling zone. Give us a new level 25 dungeon. Give us a new level 60 dungeon. Give us a new level 60 end game farming zone with maybe high density resources.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Or it's like a world PvP zone with high density resources. Or I don't know, right? I think those are all sort of low hanging fruits dangling off the tree of Classic Plus that are big no-brainers in my mind that I saw a lot of people talking about. And what the Classic WoW dev team was, they cut down that tree and they grew their own tree with rogue tanks and mage healers. And so I don't know that.
They just want people to find dungeons faster. That's literally it. Simple, really. They just want people to find dungeons faster. I would also actually be okay with the looking for group type of thing. Maybe not the same as in, retail, where it's like you queue up and then you get teleported into the dungeon. But maybe some kind of cross-server thing that looks for a group. And then you all zone in when you're in the dungeon or something like that. That would be nice, I guess. But that would also make... because you need to be careful with it, because you don't want the meta to be just dungeon farming. Dungeon farming's kind of boring constantly, right? So you don't want that to be the meta, but again, it's like they definitely want to make doing dungeons easier, because man, currently dungeons suck. Okay, there's not enough things, there's not enough healers, because who the fuck levels as a tank?
New tree might be awesome, but it most certainly was not a fruit being plucked from the tree that I was expecting. I can say that.
That's exactly the way that I feel. I completely fucking agree. I think that they've, like, adding in, like, a mage tank and, like, a warlock, a mage healer, a warlock tank, and a rogue tank. Like, these are fundamental...
shaman tank, paladin tank.
Massive deviations from, like, the base game.
Yes, good.
And I do think that it's, like, not really, like, classic at all. And again, like, I say this 50 times, but, like, that doesn't mean that I won't try it. It just simply means that these are my concerns going into it. And I think that Classic WoW, a lot of the things that Classic WoW...
I think people are going to be fine with it. I think the people who are saying really that they're not gonna like it because this doesn't feel like Classic WoW because there's healers and shit are the same idiots who were saying no changes! No changes! Zero changes! I think those were the same idiots. So, yeah. Anyway, I think we done. Anyway, this was Kuzer Sid, and thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.